This is one that's really exciting, this model called empowered employment. And this is having the people who are working with you, the way that they work with you is actually the impact side of things. And so this company called the Giving Keys was started by this country folk kind of R&B singer. And she found this old key in a New York City hotel room that she stayed at. And then she had like something stamped in it, or she might have even handwritten in it, like a word like hope or love. And then people saw that and they're like, that's pretty cool. Then she started trying to make it, and she made it in these small little quantities. And then at her concerts, she would sell them out super fast. And then she was going down Sunset Strip in LA, and there's a homeless couple holding up a sign that says, hungry, we'll work for food or something like that. And she took them into dinner and, talk about like serendipity, like synchronicities. And the guy's a jewelry maker. And she's like, oh, can you make this? And he's like, yeah, of course I can make that. It's like super easy. And so now what happened is the Giving Keys is they hire people that are transitioning from homelessness to make the keys. And then the idea is that, they'll say like hope or love or faith. And then anyone that you think needs that message more than you do, you give it to them. And then the story is spread on their blog. So you share that story. So it's really like, again, this whole, that to me is a transcending model. Like we as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we have an opportunity with all the different facets of our company to make a tremendous difference. And we can look at our supply chain, we can look at our team, we can look at our customers, the community we serve, like all of them. And the more we integrate this in a way that doesn't feel transactional, the more exciting it is. So they're able to get distribution in like companies like Fred Siegel, very high-end boutiques, because of the way that they have this impact. Here's another one that I was just mentioning to you that I thought you would find incredibly interesting is ultra testing, where this company hires people on the autism spectrum scale. So because people typically on the autism spectrum scale are okay with repetitive tasks or better at attention to detail, they are they're good with things like that. This company does cross-browser platform testing, UI testing, all sorts of stuff. And what could have been a disadvantage, they turned it into a competitive advantage. So again, really just fascinating how you can look at some of these things. Impact model number 10 is ethical opportunity, and this is a company that started in Kenya. And the guy looked at, he's a former catalog mail order professional, and he looked at the Avon model. And he's like, well, this is a great model. Let's look at what they can do here. And so they hire these women to go off in rural villages. They give them a microloan for $25, $50, whatever it is, and the bag has life-saving stuff in it. So it'd be malaria nets, pills to sanitize water. It would be just really anything that life-saving medicine, anything in there that they can get out to these rural villages. So they're making a difference in those villages. They're making a difference in these women's lives, and they're using a proven business model, which is essentially MLM and direct sales. So it's just really, really interesting to see that come around. This company called G Adventures, which is a huge travel company in Canada, and they're one of the biggest users of the Inca Trail when you go to Machu Picchu and Peru. And what they looked at is they said, okay, well, we can just do charity, or we can actually empower some local communities. And they formed this co-op of women, of these weavers, who then, because now they control this huge group of people in Machu Picchu Trail, and they basically just move them over here. And they said, okay, we're going to have this real authentic experience with this group of women. They're going to teach you how to weave and dye clothing, and then so it becomes income for them. It becomes a shared way of sharing culture. And what do you think happens to the travelers? They come back with a better story. Like it's just a win-win-win across the board everywhere. So really, just fascinating how you can make that work. So again, here's that model. And so let's dig into each of the pieces real fast. So this is you. This is your personal evolution. This is a part that I think never stops. I think that everyone's been taught that when your inside changes, your outside world changes, and it's absolutely true. It's like you're as a founder, your company definitely becomes a shadow of who you are. And so it's like, I believe in how do you express your true essence of who you are through your company. And the one thing that as things were going sideways, I really had to wrestle with was this self-identity as an entrepreneur. Like, is our self-worth connected to our net worth, and how to disattach those two, right? because as entrepreneurs, our identity is so wrapped up, so heavily wrapped up in our business, that unless you're not attaching in that way, you're just gonna, it's going to be a real tough road. And so during this time, it was a pretty dark time where I before that, I had 7 different ventures that hit 7 figures without even really trying and thinking about it. And this was like the first thing that didn't really work. And it was just a weird feeling because everything before that was just such a easy thing. And this is the one that I cared the most about. And so one of the things you also need to explore as an entrepreneur is what are some of the things that maybe you don't want to put out into the public? This is the shadow side. This is what Carl Jung would call your shadow self. And for me, it was I never gave 100%. And that was a big thing. And I never admitted it until I really started thinking about it. And so at college, I remember the pattern was I'd get drunk, show up at class, borrow a pencil, be the last one in class, and then be the first one out. And I get a solid B+, B-, whatever it was. And this sort of continued on, but I had a core value, which was I got rich by enriching others 10x to 100x in return. So it wasn't like we were delivering horrible stuff. We were making a tremendous value to people that were buying our stuff. But if I was being totally honest with myself, I never put 100% in, because then it gave me that little excuse to be if it didn't quite work, then that's fine. I didn't do everything I could. And so that was part of my sort of entrepreneurial identity trap.